Hey, you guys, this is Rashawn for News, Views, and Conversations. I'm going to pop back in and give you the third video from Stone Paxton, who is the gentleman, him and his brother, that were helping Miss Angie Stone at the time of everything that's just taken place. I want to bring it to you. I think he said there's going to be a fourth one as well. So he's really spilling the beans and giving the details because he doesn't want it to be secondhand information, which I think is phenomenal. There's nothing better than getting it from the horse's mouth to find out exactly what's going on, what's at play. I did want to point out the fact that he says that there is a sleeper cell within the group of people that were around Angie Stone within the family. Deep stuff, very interesting stuff. It was about a good 40 minutes, so very detailed. But again, I love getting information from the horse's mouth because he directly worked with her. He is the gentleman that was a part of the diesel crew that Miss Angie Stone kept mentioning, saying that she had looking into her affairs. And from what I'm understanding, I posted the second video the other day. Um, she was owed $50 million. So I see why she went out swinging. And that's why she made it her business to make it be known that, yes, I know who and what did whatever, stole whatever, and I'm going to make it be known. So I want to leave you with the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you in the next one.
Stone Paxton Music and Life, you guys, and I'm back. And why Angie Stone mentioned my name, you guys. This time I had to hook my mic up because I wanted to bring out some of this paperwork and different stuff that we have, because I wanted to make sure that when I have certain conversations with you, I wanted to make sure that I can hit certain points right on the money and I'm not making any mistakes, because everything I've been saying up to this point has literally been off the top of my head, because this part has been experience, right? This has been based on me dealing with Angie. So my memory is very good, but I wanted to just make sure that I didn't leave anything out. So I wanted to go backwards. But before I get started with this, I wanted to say the minions and the trolls that leave comments, and for the most, everybody's been absolutely super respectful to the legacy of Angie and her family, and to Stoney and her family. I have to correct it because that's what we would call each other. But everybody's been very respectful to the legacy of Stoney and her family. So I thank you for those that are coming in respectful, leaving respectful comments. Somebody made a statement and they said to me, and bear with me, you guys, I'm going to make this video as short as I can. I'm going to try to make these videos short so I can give you more of the parts instead of giving you a whole bunch of long videos, because I can talk. So I'm going to try to make this as short as possible and then give you the next one as fast as possible. So I wanted to start by saying that, when people say things like, I saw a comment and somebody said, why would Angie have you help her? So I want to say to that person this. The thing about that statement is, why wouldn't she? And I'll say this again, too. I deal with all my life. I built up this dynamic of making sure that I put myself in the right positions with the right people. I never wanted to be the kind of artist where I would be chasing, per se, a dream, but I wanted to be more on the executive side and the producing and writing side and the business side, because I knew if I'm on the business side, I would stay in the business. Do you understand what I'm saying? I knew if I am in control of my business, I will always be in this business. So I didn't focus so much on my artist side. Even though I'm an artist, I focus more on the business side. Now, what's my point in saying what I just said? My point is, for those of you that say, and that might think, because that might be people that actually think, man, why would she go to this guy? What would be her point in going to this guy? We're going to get into a few things because I want to talk about the things about the accident. I just want to slowly bring you into that because I have some things that you guys are going to find very interesting concerning that whole accident situation. But I wanted to get back to this management thing because people keep asking me a million questions about it. So I had to go deeper into that. But once again, before I got started, I want to address just that statement because there might be a lot of people thinking the same thing that person's thinking. So I'm going to say this. What is the most important thing besides money in life? When you're trying to be somebody in the world, what is the most important thing besides money? And I'll give you a second to think about that. I'm only going to give you a second to think about that, because it's not a hard question that I'm asking you. What is the most important thing in life besides money? In any sector of business, or that you're trying to build, or you're trying to have a career, what is the most important thing? And if you haven't figured that out, I'm just going to tell you. So the most important thing in life besides money is relationships. Relationships. Because relationships have their value equivalent to money. Because with a relationship, you can make millions of dollars. With no relationships, you can actually be broke. And if you look at the fundamental elements of life when it comes to success, what every person has in common with a successful career or life, it's going to be relationships. So those of you that might think in your mind, and it's very few, because everybody's been very, very loving and caring to the passing of Angie, and they've been leaving very respectful comments on my videos for the family and to me. So for the most, everybody's been very respectful, but you're going to get that small percentage of people who say some of the craziest stuff. So I'll say to you, what is the dynamic of your relationship, and what has your relationship yielded you in success? So that way you don't need to ask me that question again, because I have built some of the most powerful relationships in the music industry. Thus is the reason Angie Stone reached out to me. Now, before I really get into what I'm about to get into, I want to mention a few things on how I met Angie. Let me take that back. Wait a minute. Not necessarily how I met Angie, but how this came about. There's 3 people in my life that were connected to Angie, to Stoney, okay? 3 people in my life. And these 3 people were writers with her on the records. You know, one of my friends goes back to like Angie's first record. Tons of people I know were connected to her that I deal with personally. Number 1 was Sharon. She wrote on Angie's earlier record. She was a writer on the record. Close relationship with Angie. Her and Angie were dope writers together on different projects and albums and just all kinds of different stuff. Sharon is still in the entertainment business. You know, she kind of walked away because she just didn't like how the industry was. You know, you can always go over. She has a podcast called Street Talk, and I'll let her explain that to you, why she walked away from the music industry. And it seems like she made a great decision, right? And Juanita Wynn, who actually Angie called her and was asking about a Vegas residency. And Juanita tours with Angie and writes with Angie on a lot of her hit records as well. And she told Angie, well, my buddy Stone has connections. He can make it happen for the residency. So initially, this thing was about a residency. And Rufus Black, which is my writing partner, him and I have written for Mila J on her record, one of her records together, as well as other artists him and I has written for. But he's written for Beyonce and Angie as well. You know what I mean? So the introduction of Angie, I was dealing with Angie already. She had been hearing my name from Sharon and Rufus. And then Juanita mentioned me again. And so here goes the journey with us moving forward with her publishing. Well, wrong. The residency initially. And then that's when Angie mentioned to me she had an issue with her money and she was owed a lot of money. And even that whole situation with the residency was a whole dynamic with that. But I'm going to go into how all this happened. Now, there might be, and this is for the people that know Angie, because there might be people knowing Angie for 50 years. Hell, there's people that know me for 35, 40 years, right? There's people that have only known me 2 weeks. But it doesn't necessarily make a situation with somebody 30 years better than the situation with somebody I've known for 2 weeks. It's all about how that person interacts with me. You understand what I'm saying? And so for those people, because there's been a lot of talk in the circle which is why I'm bringing this conversation up. There's a lot of mess going on right now. Lot of mess going on. And so you'll have people that have been with Angie for these many years feel like because maybe I wasn't with Angie for 30 years, that means something. So I'll say to those people, any of you guys watching this that have known Angie for years, one thing about Angie was she would not share her private business with many people. She was very careful and calculated about sharing paperwork, sharing her privacy with how her life is going. She really didn't share the personal paperwork with people. You understand what I'm saying? She didn't share that. Stoney did not share that with people, right? So, so those people it's hilarious because I got a call about something that I had to address. And I said, well, who cares? Did Angie call on them to help? And, you know, it's funny. People can say whatever they want to say. Angie didn't call these people to help them. You understand what I'm saying? Angie didn't put and trust that in people's hands to go and correct it. So when Angie talked to me and asked me and said, I need your help. Okay. I said, absolutely, Stoney, what we need to do. And she explained it to me. I said, first thoughts were, let me get my big brother on board. Right. I got my big brother, Basal Benford, and I'm going to post a picture. I want you guys to understand for the fans, this conversation is for the fans. And I'm sorry that I got to backtrack. Forgive me. I know you probably wanted me to go forward, but I am backtracking because there's another story within this story. So I said, you know what? How can I make this effective for Angie? How can I put together my own version of a dream team for Angie, right? I called up my big brother, Basal Benford. Man, I want you to go look Basal up. And I'm going to post a picture, okay? This is who Angie's manager currently is right now. And I want you guys to understand that, right? I want you to understand that this is her current manager. It doesn't matter what nobody says because we've been hearing a lot of weird stuff. And I want you to understand the dark energies are working in this situation. And you got sleeper cells within the midst of the circle. You have people within the midst of the circle that are being very negative about our contributions to helping our legend, you guys. You have people in the middle of the circle, inside the circle, that are saying negative stuff about our contributions to helping Angie get. And I'm sharing this with you so that nobody else can share this with you. Because I got a call this morning, right? Now, I'm not speaking to certain people now. Like, I stopped answering my phone because I feel like certain people are bringing certain negativity that I don't want to see or hear. So I had to call my brother and tell my brother about it. But before I could call him, he was calling me. Him and I was calling each other. He called me and he said, Basal said, I had a dream. And Angie came to me. And she said to me, and I'm telling this to you fans, because everybody's been asking me, Stone, are you guys going to keep up the fight? Are you going to fight for Angie and finish out what you guys started? Absolutely. We don't plan to stop. Angie signed an agreement with us, and we plan to honor Angie Stone. We don't care about what nobody else is talking. My big brother Basal does not care about that. So he calls me and he tells me about the dream. And he says Angie came to him and she was talking to him, and he said he's been having these dreams back to back. Now, I didn't share with him I've been having dreams also. So I said, big brother, I said, that's crazy you saying that to me because I've also been having these dreams. And I told him about my dreams. And he said, yeah, I've been having these dreams, which was confirmation to everything that the fans, you guys have been saying about Angie. Are we still going to move forward? Please, Stone, can you guys please continue to help? Absolutely. We're not walking away from this. We're not walking away from the family at all. We plan to move forward and continue based on Angie signing that agreement. Angie is managed by Basal Benford, the TBC group. Once again, the picture I just showed you a minute ago, that's Basal. I'll show it again so you'll know who he is. So you won't have to guess and think who he is. When Angie called me I called Vasal. I told him that Angie was on dialysis and she was dealing with health issues. He immediately said yes. He said, little brother, listen, I got it. Tell Angie I'm on board. Call her, get her on three-way. I called her, got her on three-way, and we went in motion. Vasal put up his own money, initial $40,000, just to go search and find out what was going on with the songs, right? Just to find out what was going on with the songs and where they were. Now, you got to understand that what was going to happen was, hold on, give me a second, you guys. I created some notes because I wanted to share some things with you that I hadn't shared. So I have all kinds of paperwork down here in front of me, and he put up his own money, you guys. Just so please understand that. And Vasal told Angie, he said, Angie, I want to help you because my brother passed away from kidney failure. And it's not about the money for me. So you guys got to understand, Vasal is well-to-do. He doesn't need nobody's money. His company is worth $300 million, okay? His entertainment company. So he doesn't need the money. He went into helping Angie because he wanted to. The TBC group, Vasal got everything together, stay stone, get the paperwork, find out what we need, and we went in motion. It was never about a dime from Stoney. It was about the love of her legacy and who she was. And he began to talk to her about how he was going to, as we were doing that, we wanted to initially take care of getting her the money back first, and then we were going to go into the residency. But then he started saying, well, you know what, let's go ahead and start working the residency out while we're working out the money situation. Once again, that phone call I was telling you about when I was talking about said person and all that, well, that was my big brother Vasal. He cornered this guy on the phone. He cornered him on the phone, and the conversation got heated. That was Vasal. I was on the phone as well. And Vasal let him know that Angie said the money was taken. Now, I'm going to shorten it so I don't have to tell that whole story again, okay? By the end of that conversation, you know, Vasal, he tried to raise his voice at Vasal when he said, I don't have to tell y'all shit. I don't have to give you shit. I don't do this phone thing, he said. I don't do this conversation over the phone thing. You guys need to show me paperwork that you represent her. Then we went on into explaining to him how we had already sent him that, okay? Let's fast forward again. You know the details because I said it on the last video. You know, we made a call to Angie. That day when Vasal called me, we had a meeting. We talked. And then the next day, I didn't hear from Vasal. Then he called me, I think the day after that. And he says, can you get Angie on the phone? And I said, yeah. And I said, what's wrong? And he explained some things to me. He says, not good. And I called Angie. I called Stoney. And I said, Stoney, I got Vasal on the phone. She, you know, in her cheerful voice, hey, baby, how you doing, Vasal? Hey, so good to hear from you. And this is when he had to tell her, you have nothing. There's nothing there. There's no songs. Now, before he called her, he said to me, Stone, you know, there's nothing there. And you know there's nothing there. We found nothing. Am I missing something? And I said, big brother, we're going to have to talk to her and see what's going on. Because we just could not figure out why there was no publishing. You know, why? And he had to tell her that. Now, I want you to understand that this thing goes very deep. So how were we able to find these things? How are we able to dig so deep into Angie Stone's situation and find stuff out? Cornerstone Management is not the company that was managing Angie. That's a made-up company. Okay, that's a company that Angie made up. But that's not who was taking care of that. It was the Benford Group. So I'm getting back on today to kind of rewind this and explain to you the involvement per the name Vasal Benford. So you understand, Vasal Benford is Angie Stone's manager. And I'll repeat that again. He is Angie Stone's management. Listen, I like I said, once again, I don't do receipts. I don't say receipts. I don't do any of that. But inside of this folder, which I can't show you, are Angie's contracts. It's in here somewhere in the back. I can't show you that for reasons I'm sure you already know why. But Vasal is the manager. TBC Group is the company. I work for my brother Vasal. I brought Angie to my brother because I knew that he could help. And you got to understand, my brother represents some of the biggest artists in the music industry. Some of them are even bigger than Angie. And that's respectfully said. And I'm only saying that to make you understand, because there's a dynamic that's happening right now where there are people within the circle that are trying to figure out how to stop us from even moving forward. They're actually saying that, okay, shoot, we don't need y'all help. So the funny part is there's one person that's doing that. And this person is actually spewing negative stuff about the company and about us and saying these negative things. And once again, I'm standing in front of this first so that nobody later on can say something that we didn't cover. There's people that's actually trying to say that now this is what we were told, only going off of what we were told, that we, and I'm saying it to you so that you guys can already have the news, that we force, and under duress, we force Angie to sign the contracts. Now, mind you, Angie was in Atlanta and we're on the West Coast. Mind you, Angie seeked me out to help. Mind you, Angie would always call me and tell me, Stoney, what we're doing, what's going on, what's happening. It's one person within, it's a sleeper cell, and you know who you are. And that sleeper cell is sitting amongst the family. Yeah, I said it. That sleeper cell is sitting amongst the family and got the family completely fooled. But it's creating this dynamic of drama and, turning people against each other for their game because they want to be famous, y'all. This particular person wants to be famous. Yeah. Now, I'm going to mention that person's name, not on this video. This person wants to be famous. Now, what we're bothered by is the fact that we keep hearing this. This is the second time we've heard this stuff that this person has said. So my brother called me and we talked about it because somebody else said it. So you know what happens when people start saying things and somebody else hears it and it changes and another person hears it and it changes. That vibration, right? That vibration of negativity. And why? Everybody should be doing everything they can to make sure that this woman's legacy is saw all the way through with getting that money back into the estate of the family. Why would you disrupt what we've done? Our contract is valid. My big brother's contract, the TBC Group company, the Benford Group, is valid. You can't invalidate an agreement that was already signed, and we were already in motion. We were already in motion. So there's a sleeper cell in the circle, right amongst everybody, right amongst, and got people fooled. Literally have people fooled. And that person knows exactly, you know who you are. And if I was you, I'd be careful with speaking negative about people and keeping that narrative going, because every time you tell one person, then that person tells somebody. But it started with you lying. We have no reason to have stressed Angie out to sign an agreement. Now, this same person, I will mention names. This same person, I'm going to tell you guys, this same person also was one of the ones that had to do with the booking of the van, the Sprinter. This person was one of the persons that has something to do with, see, everybody's talking about the truck, but nobody has asked who booked that van. Who got the van? Who got the Sprinter van? I don't hear nobody asking that question. I know there's an argument between two people. No, you did it. No, I did it. No, you did it. No, I know you did it. No, you're the one that booked it. No, you're the one that booked it. It's within the circle, you guys. Somebody in the circle were the ones that booked that Sprinter van. But let me go. I'm going to share on the next video. I'm going to share something with you that's going to blow your mind. A conversation that person had with me the morning that Angie passed. And the conversation was rather uncomfortable, but I entertained the conversation because I was crying like a baby. I was screaming, crying. And she told me, that particular person said, I got you on speaker. I didn't give a damn. I was crying. Right? But they shared something with me about the driver. And I wrote it down so I didn't forget it. Because I just thought it was kind of unusual that person would say what they said to me. So please understand. The TBC group, we are the managers. My big brother Vasal is the one that took over everything. This is the manager. And it kind of drove me crazy because, I wish Tyler Perry had spoken to my brother. That's who he should have spoken to. We got a call. I got a call from Tyler Perry's people asking questions about us and our involvement. And then I found out on, the memorial, they didn't even have the TBC group's name on there as a company that had taken over the collecting of all of her rights back. They totally erased us out of that. They totally erased us out there. And this conversation goes deep because it just goes deep. This particular person I'm talking about, we're going to expand on that. My brother is so deep in the industry, and people say, I'm worried about you, Stone. I'm worried about you. Well, I'm not worried about anything. My big brother is one of the most powerful people in the music industry, period. He's one of the most powerful people in the entertainment business. He sits at the table with everybody. There's nothing for me to be worried. And I'm not mentioning the names that you hear people on the internet mentioning. I don't need to do that. But I'm going to tell you about this one person in the circle. I'm going to tell you about that. I feel like this is my mission. He feels the same way. My big brother feels the same way. The same thing that my big brother wants to do and has been doing for Angie's estate is the same thing he did for the B.B. King estate. They're currently, I looked up, if you go to Trillis, this is a site called Trillis, the case law. I looked up, it's funny because I didn't even tell my brother, but I was, I knew he was handling the situation with the B.B. King estate. And I looked up on Trillis and looked up the case of the B.B. King estate. Because B.B. King's daughter, it's like my mother. I call her Mama King. She just had a stroke. And Vasal has been looking out for her and the family. So the thing we do, the thing the TBC group does, the thing that my brother does is not about money. Nobody needs to worry about money when the money is there. No need for nobody to worry about money because you have to spend money to make money, you guys. You got to understand that. You have to spend money to make money. Okay? So that narrative of us, I was appalled when I heard it. I was like, what? And this is what this person, the same person that has something to do with the rental of the Sprinter. And it's an argument between her and somebody else in the camp. You rented it. No, you rented it. I didn't rent it. It's literally an argument with these two people as to who rented that Sprinter van. I think we should start there, you guys. Everybody's worried about the truck. We already know the truck is there. Let's talk about who rented it. Because that same person told something to me about the driver, said something to me about the driver that morning that I found to be very, very questionable. And I'm going to share that with you on the next part 3. Or is this 2? It's part 3, part 4. I'm sorry. You understand what I'm saying, you guys? Sometimes you have to get ahead of when people think they're going to try to say negative things about you. You got to get ahead. You got to use your platform to set the record straight. So I'm setting the record straight. They're trying to figure out a way to get rid of us from even continuing to collect what we've already started. They're trying to get rid of my big brother and the TBC group and replace it by saying that the contract we had with Angie was invalid. It's not valid anymore because she died. That's what they're saying. Which is a lie. Okay? Which is a lie. Like I said, I have the signed agreement right there. This is why people have to be careful speaking negative about people. Once again, my big brother is a very powerful person in the music industry. And to give you an understanding of the TBC group, the executive vice president of Universal works for my big brother now. Now, he's no longer at Universal, but he works for my big brother's company right now. So we're not dealing with any low-level people. So for all the people that's trying to figure out how this is going to happen, like I had a friend of mine, this idiot, and I'm going to call it for what it is. He's trying to figure how y'all going to do this. And I said, man, you know nothing about the music industry. So stop placing your opinions about things you don't know. People want to play forensic investigators. And first of all, they don't even, some of them barely know how to count. But they want to play forensic investigators about the music industry and a business they know nothing about. Okay, I'm going to end this because I'm going to do the part 4. And I'm not going to wait to do the part 4. I'm going to try to make it as quick as possible. But I will say this again. Angie is managed by the TBC group. Once again, I'll post a picture right here. This is my big brother, Basal, the one you always hear me talking about. The one that discovered that Angie had no publishing. Our team. He is the leader of the team. He's the leader of the pack, and he's one of the most influential persons in the music industry. He represents some of the biggest names. I brought Angie to my big brother, and we got the ball moving on this. So I'll say this to you again. There is a sleeper cell in the middle of the storm every day sitting right there with the family. And it's up to the family to figure out that this person is really not a good person. And I don't care what nobody says. This girl can cry. She can say she's not. She pretends like she's in the music industry. She's not. She pretends like she knows about the music industry. She doesn't. She doesn't have any music industry relationships. She doesn't. But she wants to speak negative about people who have long relationships in this business. You don't do that. You can't be a part of a team and you say you want to help, but yet at the same time, you are being a negative insertion in that system, because negativity only breeds negativity. And if you're in the heads of the kids, even though they're adults, but you know, their mom is gone. So if they feel like if they halfway believe you, there you go. If they halfway believe the stuff you're saying, really what they need to do is look into your history. See how long you've been in the music industry. If they would just take their time and get away from this person for 4 days or a week to think and tell that person, you know what, can you just, you know, we're going to get you a place, you know, we're going to book you a ticket to go. We need, you know, me and my sister need to talk. Me and the family need to talk. They would figure out that person that's in the middle, in the midst, is dangerous. And that person also needs to explain to them what was her relationship with this dude. Why did she tell me what she told me, what I'm going to tell you on the next video? Why did she tell me what she said that morning at the hospital about this dude? And I said to her, I said, well, Angie's passed. I said, what does that have to do with her passing? And she was just upset about this guy. And you know, how it was something he was doing and she was disappointed about. I'll share that with you on the next video. A sleeper cell. So I'm giving you this information, you guys, so you don't hear it, somebody leak it, somebody else tells you something. This girl, guy, whatever, right, says, oh yeah, well, we don't necessarily need them. And you know, they forced Angie to sign under stress. She was stressed. She was crying. This is what this girl is saying to people. She's lying. It's a dangerous game. It's a very dangerous game when you're lying on people that have been in this business for many, many years. Now, if the truth is the truth, it's the truth. I mean, you see me talking about it. I'm getting like in front of it to let you guys know, so that when you hear it, And if you hear it, because she knows if she comes out with this, it's going to be a problem. Because she's already been threatened. My people already threatened to sue this particular person. Now she knows who I'm talking about. Because she'll hear this and know. And you know the stuff you're saying is not cool. And you know the stuff you're saying to the family is not cool. So stop it. And it's better to stop it while you're ahead, because if you stop it while you're ahead, you actually save yourself a lot of less headaches, because you're lying. You're lying about everything you said. It kind of really makes no sense. And we're trying to really figure out what your angle is. I know you want to be a star. I know you want to, you call yourself an artist. You know, I know you were around Angie. You really low-key envy Angie. You low-key kind of want to be Angie. And you haven't even been around Angie that long. You haven't even been around her that long. So my advice to you is be careful with your negativity and starting mess, because what's going to happen is once people wake up, they're going to figure you out. See, one thing about a person who starts stuff like that, eventually the tides come in to claim the sand. You understand what I'm saying? The tides will come in to claim the sand. You're going to be exposed sooner or later. It's just a matter of time. So you can keep doing what you're doing. Like, or you can just stop being that way and stop lying and stop making lies up. Nobody can force a person to sign a contract. Nobody has a gun to anyone's head. Angie was a very intelligent woman. Oh, she was sharp. She was super sharp. But the sad part about this is she believed in you, young lady. She believed in you. She really, you had her fooled. She really actually believed in you. She believed in some of the stuff you say. You had her fooled. I would hear when she would be talking to me and I would say, who's that in the background? And I would say your name. She'd say, no, that's nobody. But I knew it was you. You was whispering. You'd be there sometimes feeding Angie certain words. I know. I'm not stupid. My ears are good. I mix records. I record. I got great ears. I can hear stuff from a distance. I would hear you whispering in the background. A few times I said to Angie, is that such and such? No, it's nobody. But I know it was you because I could hear the voice, because you were trying to feed her what to say sometimes. This is how you were manipulating, and you've been manipulating people in your circle. Got to stop it. It might have worked in wherever else you was living at. But in the music industry, this stuff gets exposed, and it gets exposed very fast. I know you want to be in the game. This is not the way to do it. I know you want to be an artist. This is not the way to do it. There's a right way to do it. You don't have to do all this. You don't have to want somebody else's life. You don't have to you're not one of her kids. You're not her daughter. You're not related. None of that shit. So you can stop all that. Now, that's all I have to say. Now, I'm going to say this again. Angie Stone is managed by Basal Benford. I will post the picture once again. I'm sorry I had to go back and revisit some of this, you guys. My apologies, but I wanted to give you a little bit more this time, but I had to go back and revisit some of the stuff in the last video and give you some details that I didn't cover. You understand what I'm saying? Angie Stone is managed by Basal Benford, the Benford Group. That's the company I work for. That's my big brother. He has been in the entertainment industry for years. Well respected, you guys. $300 million company. And all he wanted to do was to help Angie. And we will continue the fight. We're going to do whatever we can. But I wanted to share with you guys that there's sleeper cells within the circle that's trying to figure out how to get us out and void the contract that Angie signed with us. They're literally talking. Now, they haven't said it to us, because when we actually talk to them, it's always backwards conversation. You know, the people that lie, stuff is said, So I only went off of what the son said, and he didn't. He said, no, Stone. But that particular person is in their ear, and she's a messy one, y'all. Oh, she's a messy one. And when I say she's a messy one, y'all, she is super messy. The worst part about being messy is when you have an intelligent person that's messy, because they're so calculated with every move they make. Listen, y'all. Listen, I'm not going to make this video too long. I said, hopefully I didn't. Looks like I did. I'm going to catch you on the next video, man. I'll try to make these short. This is crazy. It's hard for me to make them short because once I talk, I'm talking. This is why Angie Stone mentioned my name, you guys. Part 4 coming. And we're going to get into this messy person. And we're going to talk about some other things. I really don't know what I'm going to talk about because there's so much to talk about. But we're going to talk about something. Stone Paxton, Music and Life, you guys. I wanted to give you more clarity in my vocals, so I hooked up my mic this time. Thank you for all those that have given just positive love in the memory of Angie. We're going to keep that fight alive for Angie. You guys heard it from me. You know, it's a mess in the storm. There is a virus in the middle of the family nucleus, and it's not good. So you guys heard it from me. If you hear any negative news about us, you know that it's made up, because there is no reason for us to force Angie to sign a contract. It sounds insane. And she was crying, and I mean, here we are again with the movie theatrics, right? It sounds like a movie, right? We forced Angie to sign a contract when she's in Atlanta and we're here, and we forced her. She was crying. Angie was not crying. Angie called me and said, where's the contract? Where's the paperwork, Stoney? I said, we're going to be getting it over to you. Not one tear. Like I said, none. Angie was on top of her game. She wanted to know things. But this particular girl, man, she must be good, man, because she had Angie believing her bullshit. And she actually has the family believing it too. She's made herself a family member now, y'all. I ain't making this up. But she needs to stop the negativity. You can't do that dynamic. You will destroy yourself, and you'll destroy those people that you think that you're telling them you love them, but you really don't. You're being selfless. It's all about you. You want to be a superstar. You want to be around the money. You want to be around the house. Tell me otherwise and show me otherwise. Other than that, it's bullshit. Anyway, Stone Paxton, Music and Life, Part 4 coming, you guys. I'm sorry for the long videos. I apologize. I'll try to make it shorter. Peace, and I'm out.